Hello and thank you all for watching. This is Manny Sunny Sun for an astrological report. We begin with this 888, very key portals here for the day of August 8th, 2015. And here we are, the 8th month of the year, of the universal year, and in numerology, 2 plus 1 plus 5 equals 8. And so leading many lines that we announce each year for August 8th. The Earth lines up with the galactic center, and here the universe creates a beneficial energy with the galactic center of this portal. So this speeds up the ascension process, and so let's begin. This is the Lion's Gate portal. The August these reminds us of the 8th of August 8th, which was another exceptional year, and it was the sign of the times for those who were waiting, and of course there were many waiting and anticipating. And I will show you a picture of the aerial shot of this particular crop circle that was found, and it shows a very distinct shape of an 8. It has multiple circles ranging from small to wide and vice versa. So there are also all kinds of commas and ranging from small to wide, and also the loop infinity symbol. And so walking around this circle, it may appear on that night of August 8th, 2008, the wheat field and milk hill was for many a reality, and a beauty, and in its grandeur, in its own sense. And all that we can imagine it can and could be as before. So in this vision of life, for it may we may marvel for it to pass, but from one circle, the reviews are for another. In this slow contemplation and the describing, relating at faith with the infinity symbol is a symbol of transformation and death and rebirth in all contexts. And the rebirth for all energies is also related to number 8. So therefore, I do not doubt that this information being brought to us is being signaled in the pipeline by the Ascendant Master Archangel Metatron. The August 8th, 2015 here is pure light coming from the center of the galaxy of the Milky Way. And we move from a greater, more intense atmosphere here upon Earth, giving us a burst of full illumination. The reviews of another also leveled so bright that even the blind can see. In fact, whatever our mind openings of our own conscious or our desire to keep us informed, we are all caught in the thesis of energies to enjoy. The purpose of each of us is being sought on, and there are differently according to their own personal challenges in life. It is on his own way and his soul desires to experience. We cannot judge. I do not know whether to elect a chosen or higher entity. It is not my view that I prefer to believe in deep conviction, that to live in transformation, we must agree and follow our higher self to transform this egoistic behavior. Whether it be fear, impulses, uncontrolled desires, we dry them out by compassion. And so, around me, I see people change, and people's thesis also do change. And we could have never imagined that what could be. There's an armor that is being cracked on one day, and we let it show the impact upon the hearts of others and our hearts. So they do not speak with my words that aim, of course, while keeping their own identities. They have become more and more confident and surprised by me with their new behavior. And that feeds me with a new kind of enthusiasm and hope. How is heaven, how is the earth in August 8th of 2015? The portal at 888. So I choose to draw the map and cast a chart at 8 in the morning, rising up at a given time, and the messages of Metatron are very met with these goals. Of course, the energy in this period are so strong that the web has no need to put us in this posture or in a particular theme for gold, a special time to receive these energies. We have nothing to do either. So it is even at first the advice that I want to share. Just do nothing. It's just to let go and be lulled. With Cancer and Mars being prompted us to refocus upon us, being receptive to that inner voice in our own sensitivity. which is beneficial for our evolution. Mars, of course, is sextiling and trining to the axis of the lunar nodes, and allows us to follow the feelings that are very deep within. This trine of Saturn in Scorpio, Cancer, Mars these days, I like to see that when people agree to soften these and to let go and stop being all wide and hard, authoritarian or closed up. Of course, we feel that right now that our mood is very special, and that if we're not used to the order or placement, well, if Mars in this position in this period, in this particular time, because it reconnects us back to something that is sweet, serene in us, but it's also the fiery passion Mars, which has the inner feminine meeting here in the receptivity as it pushes forward um, with warmth by the most intimate relationships where one feels safe, and it is being refers to our emotional bubble here. So this seems to be that ourselves may seem a little evil in this evil moods in that respect, that we must remain very, very in touch with our own innermost feelings. So we end the cycle with this moon in Cancer, who I told you there was all our ability to listen and daydream, to connect back to the imaginary world, this home of gentleness, nurture, tenderness, and to return back to oneself. The proximity of Venus and Jupiter conjunction is full again at the opening of the heart and the desires to love, and it means with a very strong impact with Saturn that requires authenticity and full proof. We can all pretend here, since Scorpio touches very deep in the levels of the psyche, and it is time when we need to position ourselves even more on the focused way. The positioning of the square to Saturn, it speaks of the language whose dynamism is very challenging. Again, positively, this aspect can generate very powerful healing, since it highlights with the fiery energy of Leo here, the shadows and emotions become um, or feelings that have been repressed or repelled here by fear or fame, by fear or shame, which represents Scorpio here. Um, which I also wrote in the full moon article or video, that it's time to get to the bottom of things, the heart of the matter, so to speak. So Saturn is square to the black moon, Lilith in Virgo, and Mercury. This conjunction of Mercury and black moon here is in itself already a very difficult mixture to live upon our mind, and it is possibly in search of the absolute, which would lead us to rather negative, more ruminating into the Virgo, those themes, to the extent that we do not never or would have ever feel quite perfect and want the world to conform to our criteria, where our communication problems can be a feeling of not being understood. But this is not the case with Mercury's proximity includes the black moon and becomes instead a very passing point of our fears and judgments. Through self-surrender to what is in the present moment, for my part here, I feel honestly that this is part of what is required for us, Saturn, to look authentically what has happened to all of us, that these two options can coexist with one another. So sometimes external circumstances always seem very distant from what I first saw inside and what I like to see out into the outer world. So in this case, therefore, I hereby value this discernment. For example, this is what I went through when I was rudely awakened by that night of a woman crying and angrily screaming with pain in the street. And so I was very disturbed because it brings up an experience right up at that moment. It is an experience that I had not since childhood, and still very often I feel very bad when I hear people arguing, especially at night, or baby screaming, and I repeat to myself, that is okay. We're all human, and we all have felt that at one time or another. The desire to make the world happy, peaceful, free of suffering, because we are still carrying within our own selves, and we know what it all means to quote unquote suffer in this world. But we have the responsibility to take care first in ourselves, and each of us is invited to welcome the heats of pain in that vehicle. Sometimes it is quite emotionally stable because I focus myself, and when that is becoming I tenderly kiss my own fears, like especially that of the domestic or inner nurturance of a child. And I can do more in step of cracking and tracking that aspect described above that allows me to go through that in a sense to take me out of this world that is only possible when our participation is not only led by my own self, but is drifting upon these waves of energy that is either in the lower nature that is lower than that higher, more authentic heart vibration. So I attempt here to share what I've always felt within my private self because there is in each of us, of course, more of a less sociable and asks us repeatedly to be brought to the light for treatment. And so here, this is at least how I feel in this proceeding chapter of my life, proposed by an astrological aspect that I have mentioned, and thus I reinforce this position, opposition for the day of the moon in Gemini and Saturn. It is not easy to integrate these contradictory poles here, but this aspect is not yielding to any high propensity that induces us and can become very tempted to see the dark side of life rather than the force it offers, you know. So we feel disappointed, i.e., failure, and even downright depressed because I do not know how much or to waste on this precious energy. Just trying to change everything and anybody. And so, um, this moon in Gemini induces rapid change, movement, all thought that stimulates our cerebral neurons. And this can help us find our sense of humor, back to fun, to doing the intellectual pursuits, and direct our thoughts differently to a more lightness and not let us sink into the dark side of things. And we can always go back to that surface where we take things um, a bit of a detached mode where our miseries or our serious thoughts don't take a real or don't seem as real as they seem. So what is this beautiful energy of love and light that announces for this period in time that everything seems so very trenched in difficulty? So well, all this energy of love that allows us to touch our deepest wounds. For those forms of our former lives, we convey it on our karmas. You've probably heard about that year 2015 is the year of karma, where we can experience the boomerang of past self deeds that we've done, whether they be good or bad. Is in itself a return of good things. It allows us to see what we can transmute back again into love. So, unconditional love is not a desire or any smooth level or anything. It creates a sweet world, beautiful and everything nice, as if we were dreaming, perhaps when we were children. And so, love is what makes us benevolent in all circumstances and allows our mind to move towards that higher sphere of existence. Jupiter, of course, here with Venus squaring off to the moon enables us for driving these energies day to day with these expansions, keeping in mind through the positive thinking that Gemini is an intellectual sign, mutable sign, with very clear with its small problems and clean with the danger of the planet of expansion would claim a single truth and become somewhat intolerant. Here, the qualities that are required for us in the moment are patience, persistence, tenderness towards all vulnerabilities, to monitor our communications with the other, is in order to not sow discord. Um, the apprehension stems from fear, of course, understanding comes from love. Those are the two forces that are currently existing in the human psyche. The force of this fear paralyzes. It's just to any concern, and this is where the torment begins to continue through suffering. And so the power of love allows us during this period of time to realize our miracles and just exactly what that simple impulse that was born within our hearts, and we're able to burst this energy of generosity with Venus conjunct Jupiter with the simple altruistic beliefs and thoughts for the process of love to become on and bring in joy for that light and healing that of course saves lives and saves uh, faith. So the human being persuades and he will be happy. And do not forget that we are like a ship in the rough weather or on a roller coaster ride. With if that is the case, I should say, is even calm if we're able to listen that little shaken uh, energy. So stay all zen, stay present, stay in the now moment. In all respects, that bubble seems to cultivate the best of our own selves. And I send you all my warmest of more abundant thoughts and hope to keep that space available for everyone that I encounter to share their own feelings. And so that I can either guide them or touch them with my own light and my own presence to feel the way we prefer to see the places away from the tumultuous acts that the world or our own mental concerns abide us. So the climate is suitable to receive and um, receive the language of light and love in this portal of the 888. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful 888 transmission of light done by many Spirit of Light. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me. I will send you a message back and hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all for watching. Please don't hesitate to comment and like and share this to your friends. Thank you all for watching.